Hey, it's Spence from LaunchFlows.com. I was having a good talk with Chris Lemma the other day about how there is a difference between LaunchFlows' way of doing sales funnels and some of the other products on the market. And it really gets down to this. There's not a right or a wrong way, but LaunchFlows was designed to be very lightweight, simple, and inexpensive to work in combination with the other best-in-class plugins to achieve your goal. Some of the other sales funnel plugins do a great job, but they take on basically an all-in-one format. They essentially are their own framework. So they've got lots of features, but they've also got lots more complexity, a little more cost, significantly in some cases, and you have to learn their particular way of doing things, but you get everything you want in one spot. So it's really just a matter of your preference. Today I'm going to show you and Chris how to do the actual sales funnel he said he wanted to do as part of his Woo Sessions presentation. Here he's outlined that he wants to be able to shop a shirt store for any kind of shirt. And if he shops any shirt in the category of shirts, that when it's purchased, that a tag should be applied to know that you've made that actual transaction. Because buying a shirt from the category of shirts will give a 50% discount on an upsell offer for a hoodie that happens after the checkout. In this case, we want to know if somebody has actually bought a hoodie before, because that way we won't make that offer. In the event that they have made a purchase of a hoodie before, either we can sell them something else or just take them on to the actual thank you page. In the event that they have not bought a hoodie before, then it's also important to make it a one-click checkout. In other words, the person doesn't have to do anything else in order to buy the hoodie, just say yes. And the auto-click checkout is a feature of LaunchFlows as well, where we'll ultimately take them to the thank you. Now, to make this happen, I'm going to use two very popular plugins. One of them is the Fluent CRM. You can use any CRM you want with the other plugin called WPFusion. But if you use those two together, you get a nice option of using some features here and there, kind of a mix and match. Now, both of the plugins offer a free and paid versions. The free versions will accomplish most all of what I'm showing, but I'm also demonstrating there are some even higher level features in the paid versions. If you want, you can also use WPFusion with an outside CRM like an ActiveCampaign. Now here's a philosophical choice. Because at WP Launchify, it's my job to recommend people how they solve problems. Many times the problems I solve are vendor lock-in. You might use one plugin to do everything, which at the time seems like a great idea, but down the road, it doesn't leave you as many choices of what you can connect. Now again, there's benefits and maybe there's downsides. With LaunchFlows, we're not going to lock you in, so it's necessary for us to have these other plugins to pick up the features that otherwise are included in the other frameworks. Let's use this as a demo model, and I'm going to show you how it works in practice and then how I set it up. So here I only need to set up two products with LaunchFlows, and we do that right in the default WooCommerce setup. We'll open this up and run it through, and then I'll show you how we configured it in the end. So we're going to do this in an incognito window. Here I'm able to show you the product that is in the shirt category, which I've customized with Gutenberg and LaunchFlows. When I add it to the cart, it's a standard WooCommerce checkout, but LaunchFlows is working under the hood here. For example, Susie Buyer, and we got to put in the shipping address because it's a shippable product. And let's just say it's Chicago, Illinois, 60061. One of the things LaunchFlows does is it saves any of the actual input. So if somehow Susie got distracted and came back later, you see that the fields are still there. You won't lose the entry. Let's put in Susie's address. And we're going to use the billing fields for the shipping. Now, LaunchFlows also makes it possible to save her credit card without her having to do anything about it. In other words, we make the decision for her so that it's available for the one-click auto checkout. And if you have a GDPR concern, you can automatically flush that out, automatically through WooCommerce, in fact. But here we're going to save it because we're in the United States. When we place the order, what's going to happen is it's going to go through, but instead of sending her to the thank you page, we're going to send her to the hoodie offer because we know she's never bought it before. The transaction takes place. Oh, interestingly enough, forgot the phone number. Let's put the phone number in. Transaction takes place, and we're taken to the upsell offer, which is the hoodie. This is also designed with Gutenberg and LaunchFlows. By the way, worth mentioning, this was a recent addition to version 4.0 of LaunchFlows, where there's really only one other product on the market right now that lets you customize the single product layout in WooCommerce using Gutenberg. And that is a really wonderful plugin, but it's a plugin that costs as much or more than LaunchFlows itself. We just threw this feature in as a benefit for LaunchFlows. Here you can choose to get the 50% discount if you act now on either the yes or no. If you say no, it'll go to the thank you. If you say yes, watch what happens. LaunchFlows auto click, which is one click, checkout occurs. It gives you a temporary modal that says, hold on 1 second, and then it gradually fades past the checkout, letting you know that we're going on to the thank you. And here we've got the custom after order thank you page that's done with LaunchFlows to show the details of the order. And of course, we can customize that somebody can see the other things they bought. Notice they bought the shirt and they bought the 50% off the hoodie. Now, remember we talked about a second ago that there should be a conditional. If somebody has already bought the hoodie, well, we wouldn't want to give them the same offer again. So here, let's test that out. We'll back up the truck to the beginning. And this time we'll run through it, knowing that the logged in person definitely has bought the hoodie before. Here we add the original shirt. Notice the fields remain filled out and the credit card is saved because of LaunchFlows. We place the order, and now instead of going to the upsell hoodie, we're going to take them to the thank you page where they get it at retail price. And of course, we can see that there's now a third item and so forth. So let's see how we set this up. LaunchFlows, it's very simply a daisy chaining mindset. Configure the products to do what you want, where they should go right after you add them to the cart and after checkout, and if there should be a link to do something else. It's really that simple. You can also create your own custom checkouts. So in this case, we have one checkout that's a regular checkout and one that's an auto-click checkout. And finally, you can have global thank you pages or specific to product thank you pages. Let's look at the cool shirt first of all. We'll edit it in the block editor, and we'll see that we chose to make a custom layout here where we can configure it with Gutenberg, but LaunchFlows right off the bat, if we go to the product data tab for LaunchFlows, gives us a choice of using either the original WooCommerce template, the LaunchFlows default template, which is the almost a proxy of the default WooCommerce, but you can move the pieces around. But you can also choose the blank template, which is all of the pieces of the product, but they're hidden. So the only ones that show up are the ones that you specifically put into the design. And finally, we'll have about a dozen custom templates that are ready to use and pull out the product metadata, like the price, the title, description, and so forth, so you can have really cool experiences without having to do any design at all. Here we've got the situation where we added the LaunchFlows widget or block for the add to cart, and we have the title of the product and the other things that come from standard Gutenberg. Down here, we've also configured the important parts of this product with LaunchFlows. What is the next step after this product is added to the cart? Well, according to our diagram, this is added to the cart and they should go right to the checkout. So we've chosen checkout. What should happen after the checkout? Well, in this case, we wanted to send them from there to the question of, do you have the hoodie? And if not, let them buy the hoodie. So we've chosen the hoodie product offer. Next, we've gone ahead and add a specific thing here, which is important. If we go to the product tab, we want to look at the categories. I've used the power of WooCommerce coupons with WPFusion to apply a tag whenever somebody views a product in the category of shirts, but also to give them a tag if they bought any product in the category of shirts. Now, I could do that on a per product basis by saying here, apply a tag when they buy this specific shirt, but I can also do it by the entire category, which is awesome because maybe there's 200, 300, 400 shirts in the inventory and we want to know if they bought any of them. Same thing for the hoodie. It could have been a multiple choice of colors and sizes and shapes. These are the two ways of doing it with WPFusion. If I had been using Fluent CRM instead of WPFusion, I would see a very similar box here on the per product basis. And I also would have the ability to have what I'll show you in the next product is some conditional things on the block side. So let's go ahead and back up and look at the actual hoodie product. The hoodie is unique because we're going to use some of these two choice options I'm going to show you. you'll notice I've got some conditional blocks here. This is done with the native Fluent CRM. In the Fluent CRM choices, I can say which tag is the trigger, if you will. Purchased from the shirt category. And so I have a rule on this first block that says if they are in the tag, if they have the tag, in other words, of purchased from shirt category, then show this block. There's a reciprocal rule here. If I click on this one, it says do not show it. In other words, show if it's not in the category of shirt, which is to say, when somebody gets to this page, if they've got the tag that they bought a shirt, show the first block. If they have not got the tag, show the second block. That is to say, you need to have bought the shirt in order to get the special deal. Now, you can do a conditional block that wraps around the entire page so that you don't have to show any content at all other than the one that matches. But in this case, I added a twist to it. I didn't even want to show the page at all in the event that the person has already bought the hoodie. So here in the product tab, I used WPFusion's capacity. I scrolled down to the WPFusion meta box, opened it up, and you'll notice there's an option here that says required tags not. And so what this means is do not show them this page at all if they have already purchased a hoodie. And I know they purchased it because they acquired the tag of purchased a hoodie. And they got that when they went through the checkout of the hoodie product. Remember, we gave them a tag of purchased a hoodie in the event that they actually bought any product with the category of hoodie, or if they bought, in some cases, if you want, a specific product. Notice here, redirect if access is denied. Well, that's saying where should we send them in the event that they shouldn't be allowed to see the page? And I'm just saying go on and take them to the thank you page. Remember, here it is. Bought hoodie already? Yes. Okay, take them to either another offer or to the thank you page. Let's look at the categories that I just was talking about. Instead of going on a product by product basis, you right now have a really great amount of dynamic control over which things are going to be shown or not by using taxonomy. So here in the product taxonomy for categories, using WPFusion and the tags, I've set up a couple sets of rules. For the shirts, I have one rule that says apply a tag of purchased from the shirt category when any shirt at all is bought that has the category of shirts. And I also want to track when people look but don't buy. So I gave them another tag that says if they just view the shirt page of any shirt with the category, that gives them a tag there. And I did the same rule with the hoodies. And that's essentially how this person was able to acquire the tag, even if I had not specified it on a product by product basis. Apply the tag of bought a hoodie or purchased a hoodie when they purchase any hoodie in that category, and apply a tag of viewed it whenever they just view it. Now, I did create two types of checkout pages, and you can have an unlimited number with LaunchFlows. They can be created on the products themselves or on lessons or any post type, but here I'm just using regular pages. And the two checkouts are because one of them is a normal checkout that shows all of the actual components, and the other is an auto click that does the modal window overlay. And you can mix and match them as you need, so you don't really need to create a dozen of them, just one of each type. Here is the regular checkout page. There's nothing special about that. But with the auto click, all we need to do is add a couple quick things into the block editor. Number one is we add the LaunchFlows block for auto click. That's what gives the modal window with the spinning. Next, as I mentioned that we were saving their credit card. So I also used the LaunchFlows block to save the Stripe credit card. That's it. That's all you need to do for that. Now finally, we have a thank you page. And the thank you page is neat because it's a mix and match of the LaunchFlows components as well as some standard Gutenberg stuff. Here, when we open it up, we'll see that I just did a simple 2-column layout where I put in an image of the person. I have a dynamic header, which is really neat because this is a standard header, but I'm able to now use the user's name, who's the buyer, current user display name. I use the LaunchFlows block to put the actual details of what they bought, and then I put a standard Gutenberg button in that links to the My Account area recent orders. Altogether, this is all that's necessary. But the neat thing is that all of those pieces we just made can be duplicated and reused again and again. In other words, when you make your first product and you do the custom layout, you can save the layout and use it again and again as a reusable block or a pattern, or you could simply duplicate the product and just change the featured image, price, and so forth. Likewise, when you have the tag metaphor, you now can see what a person has been doing before, during, and after, and you can do more than just the discounts. Let's talk about how the automation works. If we go on the back end, what I did was I used the standard WooCommerce marketing coupons. I created that 50% coupon and I called it Hoodie 50. And I just made a simple percentage discount here. Inside of the restrictions, I did tell it that it should only apply to the hoodie category, but quite honestly, that may be redundant because the real thing that limits it is the WPFusion. Here, I said that we're going to auto apply this if the user has any of the tags specified here, which is purchased from the shirt category. So if you recall, when they bought the main shirt, they checked out, we gave them the purchased from the shirt category tag, and that's what triggers this auto discount. Really super simple. In the event that they didn't have that, then it wouldn't be automatically applied. And you can put in lots of, the other types of restrictions if you want, like, how many times somebody can use it and so forth. But the other neat benefit is this. We can actually now give a tag for future segmenting that says not only did they get the purchase shirt ability, but they actually used it. Here we give them a tag that says the coupon was applied at the time of a transaction. So where does all this data go? Well, in this case, we're using Fluent CRM. So I'm going to go to the dashboard and we'll look at what's happened. Here, whenever somebody buys something, with LaunchFlows and WooCommerce, they're automatically registered, logged in, and added as a contact, but the contact is being done with Fluent CRM and WPFusion. The contacts that have bought can be seen here. Let's look at Susie, our last purchaser. We can see that she has all the various things that we just talked about. She viewed a hoodie product, she viewed a shirt product. She purchased a shirt, she received a 50% discount, and she actually purchased a hoodie. Along with the other details, including her purchase history on WooCommerce, if we were tracking that, we would be able to do segmentation for follow-ups. And in that case, we would just go over here, and I'm not going to do a full one, but I could create an automation that was triggered by any number of different things, such as the tag being applied, or if I had this turned on, a certain order being processed. At the moment, I'm demonstrating this with the free version of Fluent CRM. If you turned on the pro version, you'd have all those options that I'm just right now showing but aren't showing up. The thing that's neat is you can get away with using the free WPFusion and the free Fluent CRM to get your feet wet. When you use that with LaunchFlows and WooCommerce, it's a relatively inexpensive solution. And even though there's, let's say, 3, maybe 4 components, those are the 4 best-in-class components that you can plug and play with other add-ons for WooCommerce. What other add-ons? Well, for example, I'm right now using a visibility control plugin that works with Gutenberg. I could use things that gave discounts based upon which products are in the cart. There are literally dozens and dozens and dozens of free or paid plugins that work with WooCommerce. And if you've got the mindset of doing the use the right one for the right job, you end up with really a fascinating set of results versus having everything in one box. But again, it's a personal preference. The point and the takeaway from all of this is don't feel limited that you have to do things just one way. And sometimes it's easy not to overthink how the process works. By thinking of using a daisy chain method where a product is given a set of instructions of how to act and where it should go after it's put in a cart, where it should go after the checkout, and you combine that with a couple other tracking tools like Fluent CRM and WPFusion, you can really achieve just about anything you want and have a very low cost of ownership. This is Spence. I'll see you in the next video.